Good evening and welcome to the February 18th council meeting. If you'd please all stand, Mayor Pro Tem Howie is going to lead us in the salute to our flag. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we did have a closed session this evening. I'd like to ask our attorney to report out of that meeting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council and audience. The City Council met in closed session as reported by the mayor and discussed the two items on the closed session agenda, both concerning conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. Item number one, Monte Vista Water District and City of Chino versus Dow Chemical Company and additional parties. The City Council received an update, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. Item number two was also discussed, the case under the name of State of California XREL On The Go Wireless LLC versus Celco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless and additional parties. After receiving an update, the City Council, by motion of Councilmember Lucio, seconded by Councilmember Hargrove, and carried 5-0. The City Council agreed to approve a settlement agreement, pardon me, with Verizon Wireless in the approximate amount of $56,426 with a full release of any further claims. And that concludes the report of closed session.
Okay, thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Ballantyne, or Mayor Pro Tem, boy, you just got elected. City Manager Ballantyne, do we have any changes to our agenda?
Mayor, I have no changes to the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, under public announcements, first, come on out to the San Bernardino County Chino Branch Library grand reopening from 10 to noon this Saturday, February 22nd, at the corner of Central and D. Beyond looking at the library's improvements that include new furniture, lighting upgrades, and an interactive children's area, the first 100 attendees will also receive a free bag. It goes without saying that the library provides a tremendous service to our community, such as, and please join us in the celebration of these improvements that we will all enjoy. Also, I want to give a reminder that on Saturday, March 7th, the Chino Youth Museum will be holding its 10th annual Derriere 5K, 10K run and fun run at the Isla Park, located at 5665 Edison Avenue. As always, this event will be inclusive of all ages and abilities, with the kids' quarter-mile run, ages 8 and under, starting at 8 a.m. in the morning, and 5K and 10K starting at 8:15 in the morning. All those who register before this Sunday, March 1st, will receive a $5 discount on the race that they would like to participate in. If you would like to register online, please visit www.active.com/Chino-CA. For questions or in-person registration, please call the Chino Youth Museum at 909-334-3270. And lastly, we sadly will be adjourning tonight's meeting in the memory of Jean-Baptiste Aguirre, or JB as he was known, who passed away yesterday, February 17th. JB was an active member of this community and dedicated himself to preserving Chino's Basque culture and history. JB served as one of the board of directors for the Chino Basque Club and oversaw numerous community events that included the Chino Basque Picnic, where our community could enjoy and learn about Basque culture, food, and by extension, the history of our community. JB undeniably represents and is rooted in Chino. He was very, very active in the Chino Junior Fair and a very, very strong supporter of the FFA and the 4-H programs. He's survived by his wife Claudia, 2 sons, a daughter, several grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Our hearts go out to his family during this very difficult time. JB will be missed. He was just a fixture here for a long, long, long time. Okay, this is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that are not on the agenda. Since they're not agendized, we cannot take action, but we would be happy to hear your concerns. Our first written request to speak is Mr. George Sasso. He's going to lead us in a prayer. So if you'd like to join us in an invocation, please stand.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Lord, we come before you, and first off, I would like to thank you for being able to be living in the city for 41 years and seeing the city grow. And Lord, I ask that you continue to bless the mayor, the council, the city manager, and everyone involved, Lord, in every aspect, whether it be street projects, budgets, any aspect of the city that needs to be addressed, Lord, that you give them extreme wisdom. Bless them this evening and give them wisdom on the agenda tonight. And we give this night to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, George. Next, we have Miss Melissa Campani from Supervisor Hagman's office.
Well, good evening, Mayor Uloa, Mayor Pro Tem Tom Howie, council members, staff, and community members. The supervisor asked me tonight to come by to make a couple of very important announcements. The first one, I believe I did actually announce before, but it's our last chance. We want to make sure that anyone who has some shredding materials who would like to get some free shredding done in honor of National Consumer Protection Week, please join us February the 29th, so that you won't forget that. That's Leap Day, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. This event will be held in front of the Montclair City Hall at 5111 Benito Street in Montclair. Please come early if you have any shredding materials, as the trucks do fill up, and we are limiting your materials to 5 standard size boxes per vehicle, please. And we also have another event coming up, or well, really what is happening is the county is requesting assistance, and they are looking actively for poll workers. So if you have anyone who might be interested in becoming a poll worker for Election Day, they can, get a copy from me. I have an application right here. We have a phone number of 909-387-8300, and they can always go on to the web at www.sbcountyelections.com and fill out an application. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you, Melissa. Next, we have a request to speak from Steve Eli. He's one of the board of directors of Inland Empire Utilities Agency.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak in front of you again. As I mentioned a couple months ago when I was here to talk about the Chino Basin program, there's a lot more than just that one program going on at IEUA. One piece of very exciting news that I wanted to share with both you and the community at large is we had applied, let me take a step back. We are in the process of upgrading Regional Plant 5, which is just behind our headquarters on Kimball, and also decommissioning Regional Plant 2, which is on Prado, right near the golf course. That is a major project that, in addition to having to update, we also have to accommodate growth. As you know, in your fine city, you're going to have some growth, and we've had some growth, and also the city of Ontario is going to have some growth. So that's a fairly significant project. I'm pleased to report that we applied to the federal government for what they call a WIFIA loan, which is a low-interest loan that doesn't actually kick in until you've actually completed construction. So we don't have to actually start making payments until then. It's a 30-year loan at a very low interest rate, and we were able to secure a commitment to a $178 million loan. Wow. So it's obviously a very significant project. And that will be paid out, and that will not impact rates going forward. That will be paid back with connection fees and property taxes as we go forward. So it should have no impact on rates, but that's a significant amount. It's 49% of the project that the federal government will be lending us the money for. And the rest of the money we're going to get from the state and other places. We've already got other loans in place. So that's a significant project that's in your city. And of course, the economic impact to the city should be pretty tremendous by simply, we just let a $21 million contract with a construction management firm, which will manage the project as it goes forward. So that and many other things going on. You may have read the article in the newspaper about City of Chino Hills Prop 218 for our pass-through rates. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions on that. It is a postage stamp rate throughout our district from Chino Hills, Chino, all the way out to Fontana. It's the same rate. We held the rates for a number of years during the economic times. We're trying to make sure that it just covers the cost of service and no more. We've rolled back a little bit and taken our time to study for the next 5 years because the member agencies requested that in the cities and the water districts. So we've done that. I don't know where you are in your Prop 218, but certainly we want to make sure that it's transparent and we communicate very well about what's going on and where we're going so that it's clear that everybody in this region pays, right now it's $20 an equivalent unit. So basically every home pays $20 a month. That's a pass-through rate to cover the sewer services in the region. But that is among the lowest, if not the lowest, in the Inland Empire. So if not all of Southern California. I've heard apocryphal stories from some of our employees who live in the city of Fontana but are serviced by the city of Rialto that they pay 4 times that amount. So through their property taxes. So with that, unless there's any questions, thank you for your time.
Matt, when are we going to bring the Prop 218 forward?
So we'll be initiating that in March and probably start going out to the public in April.
Okay. I think it would be helpful when we're ready to have our public hearing for that if you would come forward again.
Sure.
Because it's often confusing to the people. We have to put it on the ballot.
Right.
But it isn't for us. It's a pass-through directly back to IUA.
Yeah, and I don't know how, I don't get a bill in Chino, but some cities put the pass-through as a separate line item. Because obviously you have your own charges, right? Because
Right.
when somebody takes a shower, it goes down a drain, goes to a local pipe. The local pipes all collect and then go to the main pipe, which goes by gravity to our sewer treatment plants. So, there's little charges, and each city has its own history and therefore different charges and different amount of pipe.
Okay. Well,
So-
thank you for being here, Steve.
Steve, got a quick question. As far as for the previous project you're talking about, what's the estimated construction time for that, you guys?
I knew you were going to ask me that, Tom. I don't remember. It's a several-year project.
Yeah.
It's gonna take several years.
Because we have a lot of the open land, and so we're consolidating, and there'll be a solid waste treatment facility there, as well as membrane technology, which is advanced. The plant we're decommissioning is 50 years old, and it's in the floodplain.
Now, are
So
you
the Army-
taking all of that down also? You have to,
That will
right?
be decommissioned pursuant to our agreement with the Army Corps. We have to restore it in some form. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to operate because I don't think anybody in this state's actually ever decommissioned a wastewater treatment plant.
Well, when Joe was still here, I had a question about that. And he said literally you have to take it all the way down,
Yeah.
completely as if it wasn't there at all. So that's huge disposal costs because that's a lot of cement, a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
material.
it definitely is, and regional plant too. Luckily,
Is
it's
the
one of the
cost
smaller
of,
plants.
is the cost of that decommissioning part of this also?
I don't believe so.
So that's going to be a separate
That's a
bill.
separate, but my understanding is we've been reserving for it as time goes on. But we have to, we'll take it one by one and determine with the Army Corps how they want their land back.
Yeah,
Because, it's under an easement from them, just like the Prado Golf Course is.
okay.
Good luck
Steve.
with Army Corps.
Yeah, they're so easy to work with.
That'll be quick.
Thanks.
It'll be years from now. Okay. Next request is Zeb Wellborn. Zeb?
All right, good evening. So my name is Zeb Wellborn. I am the president of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. One of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring up our business owners just to highlight businesses in our community and highlight the good things that they're doing. So the gentleman that I had that was going to come today, he's on his way, but I know he's stuck in traffic from Orange County trying to get up here. So he may stop by later, and I'll try to wave at you in case you want to say something about him. But let me talk a little bit about this business and what he did. So the business is called Management Strategic Ideas. The owner is Clark Kennedy. Clark is a new member. He just joined the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. He came to one of our Wednesday business at breakfasts. And at those events, what we try to do is we try to encourage some of our members to bring like an item that we kind of give out to people who are in attendance. And so I brought up that idea, and he got really excited about it. And he went to and basically he bought 4 flights at Chino Airport for the people who won this contest. And so these chamber members won a contest to do a flight at Chino Airport. And then when he got that, he got really excited about doing that. So then he went to Chaffey College journalism program and tried to get them involved to kind of cover the flights for their paper. So he did. He's talked to their journalism program, got them involved, and what he ended up doing was out of his own pocket giving $1,900 in scholarships to students at Chaffey College journalism program to cover these flights out of the Chino Airport. And so really I just wanted to highlight him and say, because it was all him trying to put this thing together. Another thing that we are working on with Chino Valley Unified School District currently is a Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce pitch competition. So imagine like a Shark Tank type event where we're having students pitch their business ideas to a panel of judges that are participating in this. So Clark signed on to be aboard on that project as well. And we're working on that also. So those are a couple of things that we have in the pipeline, working with the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce and students in our local area. So that was just something I wanted to highlight today. And I apologize that Clark is not here, but he's a good guy doing good things. And I just wanted to give him a shout out, so I'm sure he'll be watching this later.
Well, when he shows up, let me know, and we'll take a real quick break, and you can bring him up.
Okay, perfect. I will do that. And then chamber stuff, just real quickly. We do have the mayor's prayer breakfast is coming up. That's kind of in collaboration with the chamber tomorrow. So I know that that's pretty much sold out, but this is tomorrow morning. And then we also have our big event is Salute to Public Safety, which is happening on March 19th, where we honor our local police, fire, and this year we're adding the corrections officers from CIM and CIW. And we're also, so Chino Police, Chino Valley Fire, Chino Hills Police, and the corrections officers, those facilities. So we usually sell out that event, so if you're interested in coming to support that, I encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later. And that's it.
Thank you, Zeb.
Thank you.
Okay, those are the only written requests to speak that I have. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we have a tradition here, and that is the students that are visiting us this evening, that are here from a requirement from their school, are asked to come up, introduce yourself, tell us the school you're attending, the class you're taking, and your teacher's name. So there's a bunch of students in the audience. I invite you to line up.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Reese Brown, representing Don Lugo High School, and our teacher is Mr. Kim.
And your class?
It's government.
Thank you very much. Come on, line up, everybody.
My name is Isaiah Rivera. I'm taking government as well with Mr. Kim. And I'm a senior at Don Lugo.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Ricky Villanueva, and I'm from Don Lugo. And I'm in the government class with him as well, with Mr. Kim. I'm here to take notes.
Thank you.
I'm Riley Ayers, and I'm taking government with Mr. Kim as well, and I'm coming from Don Lugo High School.
Thank you.
My name is Gracia Tenorio, and I'm from Don Lugo, taking U.S. government with Mr. Kim, too.
Thank you.
I'm Roberto Figueroa. I'm from Don Lugo. My teacher is Mr. Kim, and it's for U.S. government.
Thank you.
I'm Sean Aguilera. I'm from Don Lugo High School. I'm in Mr. Kim's class on government.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anaya Smith. I go to Don Lugo, and I take government with Mr. Kim as well.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elijah Sandoval. I'm a senior. I go to Don Lugo High School as well, and I'm representing Mr. Kim's government class.
Thank you.
Hi,
my name is Lisa Medina, and I'm here for government. I go to Don Lugo High School, and my teacher is Mr. Kim.
Sounds like we have Mr. Kim's entire class here.
Hi, my name is Alden Nunez. I'm from Don Lugo. My teacher is Mr. Kim, class government, here to see what goes on.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jerry Lynch. I go to Don Lugo. My teacher is Mr. Kim.
Of course it is, right?
I am Manuel Uribe, and I am in Mr. Kim's class for Don Lugo.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I go to Don Lugo, and my class is government. My teacher is Miss Carpentier.
What's your last name, Stephanie?
Oh, Garcia.
One more teacher.
My name is Juan Regoza. I attend Don Lugo as a student, and my teacher is Jay Kim.
Hello, I am Henry Guzman, representing Don Lugo and of Mr. Kim's government classroom.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Claudia De Leon. I'm coming from Don Lugo, and my teacher is Miss Carpentier.
Two from Miss Carpentier's.
Hello, my name is Hector Castillo. I'm from Don Antonio Lugo High School, and I'm from Mr. Kim's.
Government.
Hello, my name is Destiny Duran. I'm representing Don Lugo and Mr. Kim's government class.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Antonio Hoyo. I'm from Don Lugo, and I'm in Mr. Kim's government class.
Hi, my name is Emiliano Palomino. I am from Mr. Kim's U.S. government class from
Thank you.
Don Lugo.
I'm Alvaro Ferraro. I'm from Lugo, and I'm in Mr. Kim's class.
Thank you. Okay, well, you can all tell Mr. Kim you all came on the same night.
What about those in the back?
Those in the back. There's some in the back that didn't come? Uh-huh. Who are the students in the back that didn't come up? Come on, busted. You have to have proof. Come on.
Hi, my name is Catherine Diaz. I'm from Don Antonio Lugo, and my teacher is Miss Carpenter, and my class is government.
Thank you. Now I see somebody else back there. Are you a student as well? No, yes? She's too shy. Okay, well, thank you all for coming this evening. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the consent calendar. Do any members wish to have an item pulled? Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, second from Councilman Hargrove. And the consent calendar passes unanimously. Next, under public hearing, item number 15, East Side Water Treatment Plant Expansion and Brine Pipeline Project, WA19C. Initial study, mitigated negative declaration. This item is to approve Resolution 2020-010, adopting a mitigated negative declaration for the East Side Water Treatment Facility Expansion and Brine Pipeline Project. I'd like to declare the public hearing open, and then request a staff report from our principal engineer, Amanda Coker.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight, for your consideration following the public hearing, I have a resolution to adopt a mitigated negative declaration, or MND, for the East Side Water Treatment Plant Expansion and Brine Disposal Pipeline Project. Typically, the resolution would be brought for your consideration in tandem with the project approval. However, for construction of this particular project, we are applying for funding through the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, which requires adoption of an MND by the lead agency prior to application submittal and funding approval. Included in your agenda packet is the initial study and an MND, which describe the project and various mitigation measures for biological resources, cultural resources, and geology and soils, which will ultimately result in no significant environmental impacts. In addition, we received 6 comment letters during the public comment period, all of which have been addressed and are also included in your agenda packet, along with the mitigation monitoring and reporting program. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any project-related questions. And we have our environmental environmental consultant Cheryl Degano with Webb and Associates here tonight to answer any environmental specific questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Do any council members have questions for Amanda? None? Okay, we do have one written request to speak. That's Georgianne Riley.
Yes, thank you. For about a month now, I've been trying to establish how this project will affect my property, which is the southwest corner of Bonneview and Eucalyptus.
Amanda?
Sure. So I didn't mention that our water treatment plant is located in the city of Ontario, and the project includes expansion to our treatment plant and also a brine disposal pipeline. And the alignment runs generally east along Schaefer, south along Bonneview, which are all in the city of Ontario. And then it goes west in Maryland, the city of Chino, south in Euclid to connect at Kimball.
You're past my property now. But I've also been, I called Austin a month ago. You didn't return the call, so he was nice enough to answer some questions, or try to. And I expressed some concerns about the last time they put in a pipeline about terrible vibrations that were affecting my property and other properties. And a call to Ontario engineers resolved that. But now I'm understanding that from Chino's standpoint, I have several trees that have to be removed.
So if I could provide a little bit of background. So there are trees along the Bonneview portion of the alignment, and they are actually within the City of Ontario's ultimate right-of-way along Bonneview. So when the street is widened to its ultimate width, those trees will need to be removed. Our project is located in the soft shoulder, which is within the ultimate right-of-way as directed by the City of Ontario. And we are working with the City of Ontario. Actually, one of the comment letters we received was from their planning department. And we are working with them on preparing an arborist report to put together a tree inventory. And once that's done, Ontario will let us know what sort of mitigation they want for those trees.
So in other words, at this point, they have to come down?
We are not completely sure of that.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And when do you think this arborist report will be forthcoming?
The arborist report is being prepared. It should be prepared in the next few weeks.
Okay. And from what you just said, there's no need for me to ask when the project is due to take place if you're waiting for the funding.
Correct. So we will need to wait until the funding has been approved by the state. We're optimistic that it would be approved by the end of this year, and then construction would tentatively begin April 2021.
Okay. And who determines if the trees come down? You or Ontario?
It would be the City of Ontario.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I was talking to JB's granddaughter today. Her family's doing well considering.
He's had some horrible health problems.
He used to lease the property I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
To raise
For the
his
calves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a great man. You're welcome. Amanda, if you would keep Ms. Riley informed as this progresses.
We will, definitely.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to ask any questions on this project? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and I'll entertain a motion. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, second from Councilman Lucio. The item passes unanimously. Item number 16, introduction of ordinance number 2020-002, amending chapter 5.04, licenses generally, and replacing chapter 5.28, which addresses peddlers and solicitors, to the Chino Municipal Code regulating sidewalk vending. This item is to approve the introduction of the ordinance, amending, revising, or adding chapters 5.04 and 5.28 of the Chino Municipal Code pertaining to sidewalk vendors in accordance with Senate Bill 946 requirements. declare the public hearing and ask for a staff report from our Deputy Director of Development Services, Mr. Michael Haru.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm presenting for your consideration tonight an ordinance which will amend Chapter 5.04 and replace 5.28 of the Municipal Code. The State of California passed Senate Bill 948, which requires cities and counties to allow sidewalk vending.
Excuse me, Mike, you said 948, isn't it 946?
946.
Okay.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Currently, the municipal code prohibits sidewalk vending, and the proposed changes to the code are necessary to comply with state law. City staff has worked closely with the city attorney and the city prosecuting attorney to ensure that the proposed ordinance complies with state law while still providing rules and regulations for sidewalk vending. Some of the regulations in the proposed ordinance include requiring sidewalk vendors to obtain the appropriate business licenses, to limit the hours of vending in residential areas, and to limit the size of the vending carts themselves. The updates to the municipal code are intended to comply with state law while providing safeguarding health and safety to our residents and businesses. In conclusion, staff recommends the City Council conduct a public hearing, approve the introduction of ordinance number 2020-002 to be read by number and title only, and to waive further readings of the ordinance. This concludes my report, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Mike, does this apply also to flower vendors? Are they now going to be allowed to sell flowers on the on-ramp and off-ramps of freeways?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Do any council members have questions of staff?
I just have one.
Mark?
On page, well, I'm showing it on 494, package page. It talks about 5.28.030. It says, no person shall operate a sidewalk vendor without first obtaining and at all times maintaining a valid city business license in accordance with Chapter 5.04 of this code and complying with all requirements of the business license unless such person qualifies for an exemption under Chapter 5.04 of this code. You know, looking at 500 or 600 pages of this agenda, I kind of got lost and never really found what would qualify as an exemption. Do you?
You know, I'm not certain of that. I'd have to talk to our finance department.
Okay. It's not that important to me. It's just I couldn't find anything under here, but I'll be honest, I didn't really.
One of the areas, if you look down towards the end on page 499, it does talk about the city manager having some discretion.
Yeah.
So it might be one way to.
That's after their signage, you mean, or is that?
No, that's correct. That's for an administrative fine or an alternative disposition.
Okay. I'm confident in what all the documents say and all those things. I just couldn't find the exemptions, what would qualify them for an exemption.
I could, if I may, Madam Mayor, I can look up the particular section. I believe it has to do with financial need and qualifying for that in that regard, but I could certainly confirm the details.
Knowing how the state is passing laws, I'm certain that that's probably one of them. You know, if you don't have any money, you can get stuff for free. So, thanks.
Any other questions of staff?
Do we know if any other cities have passed an ordinance like this requiring them to get a business license, and whether or not the state courts have upheld these fines?
I can respond to that. Yes, I know various clients of ours have adopted ordinances of this type that include business license requirements. If you're selling food, you also separately have to comply with the county health department requirements and obtain licenses through that. Those, per the current law, are deemed reasonable to assure that there's some control and understanding of who is conducting business within the city that's not too limiting and would violate the new law.
And they are upholding the penalties and all that? They're not just throwing the cases out once it gets to state court?
We haven't seen any challenge go through the court systems. So that's a good question. It's a pretty new law, so it's just come into place. The new penalties are lessened, so it's no longer as onerous. Vendors really have some protections from this new law.
Well, maybe if you can't find the section that Mark was asking about, Mr. Ballantyne.
It's outlined in the
You
code.
did find it? Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine it's for financial need, but I just have to scroll through your chapter to confirm that.
I just have one other question.
Yes, go
I'm good with that. How about in the city of Chino? Do we have any problems with this as it stands now? I know that I've recently got some complaints from my district that there's been some set-up shops and some vacant lots and taco stands and whatever, it's ice cream, whatever they're selling there, I don't know. But I mean, have we had a issue with this? And this, I imagine this would help in a lot of ways to make sure that they're in compliance with this ordinance in terms of business licensing and health and safety from the health department, from the county, and those kind of things,
Right.
correct?
We do. It's not frequent, and when we do, our code enforcement does go out and address those individuals. We've had some vendors pop up for like a taco stand, but it's not frequent. It's not
Yeah.
a daily thing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't personally observed
Right.
that much in Chino, quite honestly. Maybe some sporting events at Ayala, maybe a cart going through, and maybe going through some other areas of Chino where there's
Right.
somebody,
Right.
for lack of whatever, loading men going through and selling corn or whatever the case may be. I mean, I don't see it.
Yeah, what's driving this mostly is the state law versus we're having an issue out in the field.
Yeah, and I know a lot of this stemmed from Los Angeles area
Correct.
and cart vendors and those kind of things that were just becoming rampant and having
Correct.
no control over that. Okay, thanks.
Correct.
Any other questions of staff from council members? Okay, are there any members of the audience that would like to ask any questions? Yes, go ahead and come on up, please. State your name.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Elijah Sandoval from Don Lugo. I have a question as to the vendors and solicitors part. You guys said that this new regulation is going to regulate like street vendors and solicitors. Would solicitors also count as in like religious affiliations? Because I know a lot of people on their windows have like a sticker that will say no soliciting, and it's mostly directed as to like religious affiliation. So I just wanted to know, is like, in terms of that, how is like what's the point on that one right there? Like,
Well, the amendment to the municipal code is really talking about people that are selling items in the public right-of-way.
so it has nothing to do with religious affiliations or any of that?
That's correct.
And as far as the street vendors, is that mainly because of like a health concern, or is it like an environmental concern for the health of like our community, or what is that for?
The reason why we're amending the code? Well, the primary reason is because the state has adopted the new Senate Bill 946, which allows these vendors to exist. And so currently, we don't have any real regulations for these street vendors, so that's what these requirements are going to be for.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you for asking the question. Anyone else in the audience have any questions? Okay, seeing none?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Rodriguez.
Basically, you cleared it up because in the sense that the law was passed, as the way I understand it was exactly what you said, is to have some type of regulation, not only for the protection of the public, but also for protection of the vendors themselves, because they themselves were being harassed and abused. So it gives it some kind of equity, probably to both. That's probably the best thing. And when it comes to religious, we don't sell religion, you know. They're talking about food. That's my understanding.
If I may, Madam Mayor, I've now looked up your provision of your code at section 5.04. There are specified exemptions for example, veterans of your armed services. There is that clause that allows your city manager some discretion, so presumably if there's some, whether it's a financial need or as the city manager deems appropriate, but there are classes of exemptions, such as a veteran.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Okay, then if there's no more questions or comments, then we will close the public hearing. Call for a motion and a second. Okay, there's a motion from Councilman Hargrove, second from Councilman Lucio. And Mr. Galante, would you please read the ordinance and title into the record?
Thank you, Mayor. Before the council is ordinance number 2020-002, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, County of San Bernardino, California, amending Chapter 5.04 Licenses Generally of the Chino Municipal Code and replacing Chapter 5.28 Peddlers and Solicitors with a new Chapter 5.28 entitled Sidewalk Vendors to address changes in state law. And that's reading by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome, and the item did pass unanimously. Next, under new business, item number 17, approval of bond documents for special tax bonds for Community Facilities District, number 2016-1. This is to adopt resolution 2020-008 of the Chino City Council of the City of Chino, acting as the legislative body for Community Facilities District number 2016-1 of the City of Chino, approving the issuance of bonds and the substantially final forms of the preliminary official statement, fiscal agent agreement, bond purchase agreement, continuing disclosure agreement, market absorption study, and appraisal report, collectively the bond documents. I'd like to request a staff report from our Director of Finance, Mr. Rob Burns.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. In 2016, the City Forum Community Facilities District 2016-1. The project consists of 185 homes ranging in size from 1,650 square feet to 2,450 square feet, and the project's located east of Euclid and north of Bickmore. The development is now ready to issue bonds. Tonight, we're seeking approval of Resolution 2020-008, authorizing the issuance of special tax bonds of the district and approving the substantially final forms of the preliminary official statement, the bond purchase agreement, the continuing disclosure agreement, and the fiscal agent agreement. It's anticipated that approximately $10 million in bonds will be sold later this month for the purpose of reimbursing the developer for the infrastructure that was required for the development. And that concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions from council members or comments? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, then I would ask for a motion. Motion from Councilman Hargrove, second from Councilman Lucio. And the item passes unanimously. Okay, Zeb, did your gentleman show up? No? Okay. Then we will go on with mayor and council reports. My report this evening is very short. February 6th, I attended the Inland Empire Utilities Agency Sewage Policy Committee. On the 7th, I know, you wish you were there.
How was that sewage?
Sewage is flowing. It's being handled. On the 7th, I attended the senior birthdays with Councilman Rodriguez. On the 12th, attended the Community Services Park and Facilities Master Plan Workshop. On the 13th, I was here just a little bit for the Student Government Day and then had to go up to the Water Master Appropriative Pool. Right. So, Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Well, you weren't kidding, that was short.
I know.
You're feeling okay?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, really good. Okay, so I have just a few items myself going to February the 5th. Councilmember Rodriguez and I don't know if anybody else was there, but we attended the county's 2020 vision. So the San Bernardino County had their annual show, and it was very well done. The video they did was really good, a little longer than normal. So the county's doing very well from their report. So that was on the 5th. On the 6th, I attended the Chino DeSalter Authority board meeting. And also, that was in the afternoon. And then afterwards, I went to the fire district for their promotions. And that's one of the biggest promotions in the fire district I've seen in a long time. I think there was at least 12 promotions from engineer all the way up to deputy chief. So that was nice. It's pretty good. The fire district seems to be having quite a turnover, and also turnover in their management.
We have the retirements, and then that allows everybody to move up.
Yep. So that was very nice. I attended the meeting down at Chaffey College. Also at Student Government Day, I had a meeting out at the county in San Bernardino, so I couldn't stay very long. I was only there to greet the kids but I'm sure somebody will, Mr. Hargrove will probably report, I believe, on Student Government Day. And then, last but not least, at St. Valentine's Day, I attended the Kiwanis play at the theater. And the chief was heavily working in the snack bar. He did a great job doling out drinks and candies and stuff. But I do see Harvey Luth out there. I see you've recovered now, Harvey, from the 5 plays and the 2 months of rehearsals. Yeah, that was good. And Nick Lagori, your character, both characters, you played 2 characters. It was your finest performance in the years that I've seen you in the Kiwanis play. You did a great job. And so it was a continuation of a previous, not a continuation, but like the next step of a play they did about 6 years ago. So the characters were all the characters they played a few years ago, but it was in a different play. And it really highlighted the women, and they did a good, and everybody did a good job.
What about Michelle? How did she do?
Okay.
She did good.
Well, Michelle, I think she's probably on her way to Hollywood. I don't know if she's going to stay in Chino anymore. Huh? Yeah, you're old. Poor Matt. But I did see Matt there at the end of the play. He looked like he was a ride for Michelle. But that's a great play if you guys ever get a chance to go see it. It's a fundraiser for the Kiwanis Club and with local actors, and it's always right around Valentine's Day. But it was good. So, yep, that's it.
Okay. Councilman Hargrove.
All right, February 5th, I met with 2 residents just regarding Ontario airport noise. Again, just kind of updating what actually went out to a meeting a couple weeks ago. They invited me out there to the airport authority. Interesting. But I met with them and assured them that the city's still looking into matters and we'll keep them updated. And then later that evening, I attended I didn't go to the State of the County because I had a Measure G meeting that I had to chair in the city of Chino, and the Chino Champion report on the front page. Phase 1 is, I guess, underway completely. They've spent quite a few millions so far, and then they just passed the last board meeting. They passed another, I think, $240 million bond. So that's on top of the already 120. So
we'll see that on our tax bills?
yeah, so they've eaten up about half of it so far, and it's getting eaten up quick with construction costs and all those things. We discussed that. They had anticipated during, this is only, 2 or 3 years ago when we actually passed it. It would eat up maybe 5%, but I think it's astronomically been past that. They're looking at like 20% increases in concrete and labor, and if they can even find people to work and those kind of things. So they're having the same issues, I'm sure, that everyone else is having, but it's certainly gobbling up the money quickly. My computer jumped off here. Let's see. So February 11th, I attended the CIW Prison Citizens Advisory Committee. As well attended there. The new warden at CIM has been up to, seems like Sacramento last couple of meetings, but she was in attendance this time. I think she's doing a good job for what she has to manage out there. CIW also has a new warden. Molly Hill retired in December. Richard Montez is now the acting warden, waiting probably to be confirmed or vetted through and confirmed. Again, he's a pretty young guy, maybe in his 30s, 40s. He's only got about less than 20 years in the department, so
it's unusual.
I knew him pretty well. He's a pretty sharp kid, and I think he'll do well. He's worked out at CIW before, which is, if you don't know, it's a very unique prison out at CIW. It runs a lot of different kind of programs out there dealing with the women. But I think they're doing well. A lot of them, they've highlighted, I forgot the paper I had, that some of the community organizations, nonprofits that they're donating to. I think Ms. Houston will become more and more involved in the community as she gets comfortable in her position there, and hopefully she'll be like some of the previous wardens that have really reached out to Chino and local areas instead of reaching out further beyond that regionally. So I think things are going well for them. On February 12th, I did attend the Chino Parks Master's Plan, Facilities Plan Workshop. It was quite interesting. I don't know, when did you say with the fire, we went to the fire promotions, when was that?
Afternoon.
Oh, that day?
4 o'clock.
Oh, so I went to that also and saw Tom there, and another nice event. February 13th, busy week, I guess, the Student Government Day. That was a fantastic event. I will, of course, the city manager was there and did most of the hosting, and the department heads that they had that assigned to each kid. The kids were from Chino High School, Don Lugo, and Buena Vista. I continue to say this every time I interact with kids that 17 or 18-year-olds, and I reflect on myself at 17 or 18, and I was nothing like these kids at 17 or 18. These are some sharp individuals that really have interest. And I said, when we got up with my group of 5 that were on the council and discussed, and most of them said that, I said, what kind of a majors are you looking at in college? And they're like, political science. Like, I mean, they want to go into the stuff freely, you know, it's not like they have an issue and it's forcing them to get into government. But incredible, even during our mock council meeting, the mayor, she did a great job, Mayor. She has some questions, and a couple council members that were mocking asked some questions, and then they slid into some personal stuff going into Chino. Like in front of my house, there's a street, and they kind of grilled some of the public works and finance and development services, and they kept pushing those off to the other department to answer. But they did a great job answering that. And then the staff that put it together, I couldn't imagine having, you know, certificates and food and all the things that he did. And then we followed up and went to a luncheon at Ayala High School hosted by Chino Valley. I was very happy to see that many of our department heads and the city manager attended that event. Some of the other agencies were lacking in their attendance of their leadership, so that's fine. Chino was there, well representative, and it was just a great event. So it was the first time I've attended that in this form. We didn't get a chance last year. And then I know I mentioned the last meeting, we talked about the commercial vehicles, and I was driving down to the CIW, CIM Advisory Committee at Chaffey College, and lo and behold, I see all these trucks pulled over on Edison, and I see lead Chino vehicles there pulled over, and CHP and Buena Park, and I don't know, multiple agencies were there, had trucks pulled over. And I could tell immediately on the looks of the faces of the drivers that they'd get caught up in something they wish they had taken another path. And I thought, man, this is a really neat thing. It didn't delay me much at all, got right through it, so they had it well organized. I know there were some comments on social media that probably 98% of them were truly positive and want to see this more and more and more. And I'm sure that that's the intent going on. Maybe the chief can speak to however many they pulled over and cited and whatever the results of that were. But I know the residents were really appreciative of that. And I've mentioned that I've seen them all over. So whoever's running, you know, I know Sergeant Olden's running the traffic division, and you mentioned the officer that's running the commercial, but they're doing a great job. So I really appreciate that. And definitely would like to see more of it, quite honestly. And then also, thank you to the police department. It never ceases to amaze me that we have an incident or criminal activity in the city of Chino, and within hours, if not a day, suspect's usually found and arrested. And usually he's not here in the city of Chino, he's somewhere else. So whoever's doing that work out there, I've mentioned this before, I've been a criminal investigator, and it's tough business, but the expedience that you guys find these guys is just extraordinary to me. So I do appreciate that, and I'm sure all the residents of Chino really appreciate that too. So thank you, Chief. And that concludes my comments.
Very good report. Councilman Lucio.
Yes, mine's going to be pretty short. On February 11th, I attended the Parks Facility Master Plan Community Workshop. It was good to see. It was different. It was nice because it was different people came together. A lot of people wanted a performing arts center. Certain parents came out because their kids played softball. They wanted lights. So it was good to have a variety of people come in and really talk about what they wanted, at least moving forward, what they'd like to see in the park. So that was good to see. I really was kind of surprised at the amount of people that wanted a performing arts center, because I know that's something we've talked about. And then I ended up talking to, I believe, the group that's going to be putting it together. They were asking different ideas as far as the master plan and what we want to do here in the Civic Center and some of the things that, you know, that they were hoping to maybe get out of that. But it's exciting to see what the future has for the city of Chino and some of the things that we got in the works to change the city and make it move a little more modern and with some newer facilities and libraries and what have you. One of the things I wanted to talk about was I saw that the police department, with the assistance of the fire department, got trained in Narcan. And if you guys aren't familiar with Narcan, it's naloxone, and they've been issuing it to everybody in the LA County. The sheriff's department's got it. We ended up getting a grant, and we were able to fund it. And through the funding source, we were able to purchase it and also assist in training.
What is it, Mark?
So a lot of kids they're overdosing on different types of opioids. So what happens is when you come across somebody, a kid, an adult, that has taken some sort of opioid, the first thing that they can administer to them is a Narcan, which is it's almost like it's something that you can put in their nose and you shoot it in their nose. And if they've taken some sort of opioid and they have an opioid overdose, it can turn around the effects and bring them back to life. It usually comes in 2 doses per pack. So if the first one doesn't work, you can do it with the second one. But the good thing about it is even if they didn't overdose on opioids and they're just passed out and you really don't know what happened with them, even if you administer Narcan, it's not going to have any effect that's going to be negative. So it's good to have, especially I've seen some of the things I saw in the Chino Champion, that there was some kids that were in the junior highs and high schools that were coming across that were ODing on different types of prescription medication. So it's good to see that we're actually moving forward and doing something to offset that. And hats off to the fire department for training them, and then for the police department for also participating in that training. I also wanted to mention, I know that the flu season is going around. Both my little ones are sick, and I just, talk to parents, if your kid's sick, please keep them at home. Don't send them to school, because you only spread the problem. But I know that I was trying to get the names of the people from Chino High that wrestled in CIF and is now qualified for Masters. I wasn't able to get their names, but we did have some people at Chino High School that qualified. So they have to place at a certain, I believe it's top 10 in CIF. And then if you place within the top 10 of your CIF, then you move forward and go into Masters. And the Masters, I think they take the top 6 to go to state and so on. But ultimately, the program in Chino's moving forward at Chino High School, because I've got some kids that were going to different high schools that are now looking at moving into Chino. Their parents are telling me because they see the program is up and coming. So Alex Angulo, the coach there, is doing a good job, and hats off to him and to his program. And I wish I would have got the names of the kids that have qualified so we could have recognized them here in the meeting, but we're proud of them, and obviously we hope the best and that they move on for Masters and go to state. And that's all I have.
Well, if it's appropriate, as they move forward, like we do with the boxing kids, if it comes a point in time, bring them to the council meeting and we'll give them certificates of recognition.
Okay.
Especially the ladies, right? There's like 5.
Yes, there's some
Really?
girls
Yeah,
that are,
some of the girls over there are just killing it. They're just top notch.
I know they had 2 boys and one that's an alternate and 2 girls that are finalists. So
Great.
I
Let's
know they have 2 and
recognize
2.
them. Let's bring them to a council meeting.
Okay.
Okay, Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes, on February 5th, I attended the State of the County with San Bernardino County with Council Member Tom Howie. And yes, the county is doing very well. And Supervisor Kurt Hagman spoke specifically on several topics. The first one being the Connect SoCal plan, dealing and developing a sustainable community strategy on education, business, and transportation. And he went in length on the new development of a transportation goal line development that's going to help us with our traffic concerns. And likewise, he spoke about the Metrolink buying Metrolink trains that are green, that are going to help with pollution and so forth. So it was very well attended and very informative. I was very, very happy with that. February 6th, I attended SCAG, and once again, the talk was on 2 areas, the crisis on housing, and once again on the goal line development that's going to be helping with transportation. February 7th, I attended with the mayor the senior citizen birthday celebrations for February. And on February 15th, I attended the Boy Scouts Troop 207 leadership badge training that they're having. And they're preparing for an outing next Saturday out here in the state park that we have in Chino Hills. So that was exciting to hear them get all together for that. And lastly, I'd like to have an approval for community support contributions in the amount of $1,000 to the Chino Valley DES Portuguese Club, $600 to Boy Scout Troop 207, and $500 to the House of Ruth.
Okay, that is item number 18, so we would entertain a motion, please. It's a motion from Councilman Howie, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, sorry, Tom, and second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. And that passes unanimously.
That concludes my report.
Okay, before we go on, I notice Mr. Kennedy is here, so Zeb, would you like to bring him up and introduce him to the public?
So Clark, I kind of already gave a brief synopsis of what happened, so maybe you could either ask questions or share a little bit about what you did for the students at Chafee College.
Put you on the spot, huh?
Any questions? I don't know exactly what he said, but
He kind of gave us a rundown of the programs that you're involved in, how you've gotten involved in the community.
okay. Sure. Well, let me add, I don't know exactly what he said, but I'll fill in. I'm a new member for the Chino Chamber, and in my initial meeting with Zeb, had some pretty ambitious ideas. And in that process, Zeb asked if I would help out with the morning breakfast and brought some raffle information and things to give away. And one thing led to another, and since I've been a pilot for a long time, been out at Chino Airport, I love Chino community, I thought, well, you know what, maybe we'll just give away some discovery rides over at the airport. And we gave away one ride, and it seemed to kind of elevate some enthusiasm there at the breakfast meeting, which is, I think, what Zeb's goal was, is to, motivate. I've run $60 million a year, companies. I know what it takes to motivate people. I respect Zeb and what he's trying to do as president of that chamber. It takes a lot of energy to make things happen and add. So when I committed, I committed. So we ended up doing 3 more Discovery Ride raffles, and with the cooperation of Chafee College, the media and journalism department, Miss Dowd is the professor there. We hit it off right away. She's a really dynamo. She was right on board right away, committed. And we assigned the students to the 4 rides. There was 4 groups, and it turned out really well. I think one of the students might even change their major to get a pilot's license. So, but we did a great thing, I think, for the Chafee College. We did a great thing for the journalism class and supported Miss Dowd and brought something real exciting to her program. We got 4 business members of the chamber to go out and do something they probably wouldn't normally do, go out and get in an airplane, a small plane, manipulate the controls from taxi to takeoff, do some flight maneuvers, do an approach and land the aircraft and taxi it back. Got some great photographs, some great videos, a good competition. And so I think it worked out really well, and I'm glad to talk about it. And if it weren't for Zeb, I'm all on board for supporting what he's doing over there at the chamber, and Chafee College also. They're a real fun group of people to work with. So I don't know what else to add, but that's kind of how it went down. And one of the members got the $1,000 first place prize. Second place was $500. Third was $250, and fourth was $150. So all the students got prize money for their efforts to put these competitive news clip videos together. And some of them are on YouTube if you ever had a chance to look at them. That's what happened.
Well, we want to thank you for your involvement. Sounds like you're a perfect fit for the city of Chino.
I had a great time doing it. It was super
And there's
fun.
always something to do in this community.
Yeah,
You're
apparently
right.
there
Zeb's
is.
doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to follow Zeb around, and he has nothing short of things to do at the chamber, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your participation. It's really appreciated. And I understand that, listening to another gentleman about the airport, that the whole area of aviation moving forward, I guess in the next 5 to 10 years, are going to be really short personnel. So
Yeah.
it's important to get young people involved in aviation, because there's so many aspects of it, not just a pilot, but there's mechanics, logistics, so much involved in aviation.
Yeah, I'm all for it, and there's a part of what I do as a business person and consultant and a pilot is I have amalgamated a lot of my flight experiences into business. So I have a seminar I do called Fly Your Business Plan. So there are a lot of analogies about having a successful flight from beginning to end that parallel business planning and business success and various things. So it's a good seminar, and I think that every young man or woman should at least go and do what they call a solo flight and do a solo cross-country flight. And when they get back, they'll never be the same person again because they had to plan every single step, take responsibility for themselves, their life, and others. And I think it's just a great way to mature in a very short period of time and go out and do that.
That's
I wish a lot of people would do it, but I tell everyone, I don't know how many people are doing it, but I tell everyone.
Just starts with one.
It starts
Any
with
other
one. Anyway,
comments?
any questions?
Well, thank you, Mr. Kennedy,
I
very
appreciate the
much.
opportunity. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, before I ask for Mr. Valentine's report, Linda Reich, would you please tell the public about future opportunities to give their input into our parks master plan?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd be happy to. So we've hired a consultant to look at our parks and facilities for future. And so far, we've had 2 public workshops. The next steps are we will have a website, and we will have a survey on there so the community will have the opportunity to give their input there. Our consultants will also be going out to all of our special events over the next 3 or 4 months. So they will be reaching out to our community there so they'll be able to give input. We have a hashtag Chino Creates Community, so we will be pushing information out there as well as our survey.
Okay,
So
thank you.
the more input we can get from our community, the better.
And I would ask, because it's really important that the public understand they need to participate, perhaps at, I hate to be pushy, but at every council meeting, if you could give a short kind of update on where we stand on the public communication.
I'd be
with
happy
parks.
to.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Okay, Mr. Ballantyne, anything this evening?
I have no report, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Galante?
No report, thank you.
Chief Simmons? I know you have a report.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor and Council. So we so appreciate your guys' support. I just want to touch bases on a few things in regards to the commercial enforcement checkpoint. So we've partnered with this group around Southern California where we get together with other agencies and we go to each other's cities where we can put these checkpoints together. And this was the 3rd one, I believe, we've held in the past year in Chino. And it involved California Highway Patrol, Long Beach Police Department, Orange County Sheriffs, Riverside Police Department, Riverside Sheriffs, Irvine Police Department, Buena Park, Huntington Beach, and of course our own personnel. And our goal is for safe roads. Our goal is not to give people tickets, but we want our people driving our commercial trucks to make sure that their vehicles are safe and that they're properly equipped and licensed. Myself, like many of you, get a lot of our packages at our door, and they come to us via these trucks. So we need them in our community, and they provide a lot of commerce, but we want them to be safe. So we'll continue to be out there. And of course, with our newly furnished commercial enforcement truck, he's out there at least 4 days a week working on that as well. And then in regards to the incident that you were talking about, Councilman Hargrove, our goal is to prevent crime. But when crime occurs, people need to know that our people will get them into custody and they will be held accountable for their actions. And yeah, it was less than 24 hours. You've heard the TV show, the first 24. There's a lot of truth to that. And so we put as many resources as we can at the very beginning of the issue to get those people into custody. And as you know, most of the time, they're outsiders coming into our community committing crime. And we'll make sure that they're held accountable. And then Councilmember Lucio, and regarding the Narcan training, yeah, we're so fortunate here in the Chino Valley to have the partnership of the Chino Valley Fire District. They do a great job. We are the 2nd agency in San Bernardino County to actually have the Narcan and to be able to use it and put it out there in the field. So we're glad to have that tool, talking with our fire partners. They're responding on 4 to 5 opioid overdoses a month between the two cities and the county areas. So a lot of times, our law enforcement personnel will be there first on scene, and we can administer this, which counteracts the effects of the opioids, literally within 1 to 3 minutes. Wow. And where people were dying before, we can then stop that progression. And then, of course, then the fire department comes in and can provide continued first aid. And this isn't just for drug addicts, though that is a large portion, but if a small child were to find a parent's pain medication and take that child could overdose on that. That's the other thing, is we ask the community to make sure to dispose of their old medication at the police department. We have a place where they can take that, because it's not just heroin. It's prescription pain medication that contains opioids that can also cause these effects. So, and all these things that we're able to do, I just want to thank you, because it's because of your support and funding that brought us the commercial enforcement vehicle, gave us the tools and resources to be able to catch these bad guys, and then, of course, the training to be able to provide our personnel. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome, and I know our citizens appreciate it as well. I just wish the word would get out there in the criminal area and just stay out of Chino. Just don't even bother coming here, because you're going to get caught.
Well, we find that if they do come once, then hopefully they won't come back, because they're leaving via the jail. So, thank you.
Wes. Okay, who's here from the fire department? A new face.
New faces.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, and staff. I want to take an opportunity to introduce myself. I am the newly appointed Deputy Chief overseeing emergency services. My name is Nathan Cook, and I wish I was from Mr. Kim's class, because it sounds like they've got a great class. So, but all joking aside, just an honor to be here. Just started with the district about 2 months ago, and came from the city of Redlands and a few other places prior to that, and just extremely honored and humbled to be able to serve this great community and the communities surrounding this area. And so, to the chief's point, the cooperators and the cooperation that we have with the cities, and certainly our law enforcement partners with things like Narcan, just super excited about the opportunities in front of us, and the fact that we're cutting edge and that we're being innovative in our communities is just a great thing. So with that said, looking forward to the partnership and collaboration to be able to work with you folks in the future, and happy to answer any questions you may have, but super excited to be here.
Any questions? Well, welcome to Chino. I think you're going to really love it here, and I think you'll find the relationship with the police department is very unusual and fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
evening. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we will be adjourning in the memory of J.B. Aguirre, and our next regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, March 3rd at 7 o'clock in these council chambers. We are adjourned.